So many people are thinking about making the move to the Sacramento area. In fact, this is the largest channel for Sacramento real estate relocations. And we do a live show every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Questions, audience participation, that whole thing. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people love the Sacramento area, but there are other parts of the country that they're also considering. So once a month, we're going to highlight an area, a different city in the United States, and we're going to go toe to toe, talk a little bit about price points, housing styles, lifestyles, weather, all those things that you need to know about to make an educated decision. Where is your next move going to be? Tonight, we bring in top producing realtor Yari Jones from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to talk a little bit about how their market's doing, price point, all that kind of stuff about Charlotte versus Sacramento. Both are amazing spots to live in the United States, and we're going to break them down just for you so you can make that educated decision where your next move is going to be. Let's get into the show right now. All right, we're jumping in. Yari, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Mark. It feels so strange with you calling me Yari, but I'll take it.
I know. For me, she's Karina, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, so first of all, giving you props. You're one of the sharpest realtors I know. You've got like what, 2 master's degrees, education, public relations. You've been in interior design as well, interior designer, where you like. All those things for me are such pluses in the real estate realm, because when you walk into a house, showcasing the various things as far as like, Hunter Douglas shades or all this stuff too, like there's just a level of like finishes that you can call out that most people really don't know, and for me, I think, I give you full props. If you were in Sacramento, I'd be in trouble. So tell us a little bit about Charlotte, and tell us a little bit about how the market in general is doing in Charlotte.
I'm going to be biased. Charlotte's an amazing town. I made my way here about 12 years ago from New York, and I have enjoyed every bit of it. Seeing the growth, like the growth is expansive. You're talking more than 100 people a day moving here, and you're seeing companies come here. You're seeing a lot of live, work, play. That's becoming a big thing. You saw it in Ballantyne, and it's kind of moving on to some newer projects that they're working on. And that's really important because this is really an urban area. So to be able to have more than 1 million people and not have those connections that you saw, like I saw in New York, right? The transit system is amazing over there. But here, it's a little bit more behind. It's more of a light rail and exterior type of train system. So it's just booming. It's growing, and infrastructure and all the other things need to catch up, but it's on its way. I mean, it's truly an amazing town.
Okay.
Real estate, we'll get into that in the numbers and kind of like how it looked last year versus this year.
Okay. For us, Sacramento, I pretty much call us like, we have different counties and everything too, but we're kind of suburban. We like our swimming pools. We like our barbecue. We like our Costco's. We're very much like, that's our pace of life, and a majority of people that I move in here are looking for that exact lifestyle. They're not looking for that 2 a.m. partying all night or those things. They're just not. We're very family centric. Movie nights in the park, concerts. Here it's really like focused on family. A lot of our people that move into the Sacramento area are people who still love California, and they want that California lifestyle, but they don't want to pay the Bay Area prices, which is almost double or sometimes triple what they can get in the Sacramento area. And so we have a lot of people coming up here, and they're like going to Costco with like an empty stomach. I mean, they're like, oh my God, I can get all this here. And that's one of the biggest things about our area. And we're growing, we're developing. I mean, we're bringing in so many new homes. I mean, in various areas. How is the new home growth in Charlotte?
So new homes are, pretty much that is the majority of what I do. A lot of my attraction is to relocation clients. And so they are looking for new construction, especially in areas where you don't see a lot of new construction, and they're feeling like they can come down here and get a bigger bang for their buck. Particularly areas like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Those areas are big in terms of like attracting people that want to get a lot more home for their dollar, especially people that are retiring or that can make the jump, that transition to somewhere here. Because banking, this is like the number 2 capital of banking. So it's a big business town. And we are really into family here too. Family is super important here. You see it, like I still remember having my son as a young boy and being able to go to so many free things that I could not access when I lived in New York. So we are very, very family centric. We do not have the kind of like the beach life that you guys have, or the access in the same way. The closest beach is about 3 hours away. So, but we
Okay.
do have the ability to hit a lot of different tourist towns, which is another major attraction. So you can go to the beach on one side and to the mountains on the other side.
Okay. And for you guys out there watching the show us a little Charlotte and Sacramento love as well in the comments. We'd love to, gauge exactly what your opinions are on both these areas for people who are maybe thinking about relocating or moving into either Sacramento or Charlotte. Now, for us ourselves here in Sacramento, we're not really that close to the coast. I mean, good beach, maybe about, I don't know, maybe an hour, 20 minutes, hour, 30 minutes away, depending on traffic. We're more like, the thing about Sacramento, we do sacrifice a little bit of the coastline, but where we make up for it is the price point, of course, for the affordability of the homes. But we have like lakes. We'll have like Folsom Lake, Lake Natoma. We have the American River and Sacramento River. And we have that, like, the type of stuff you see in Hallmark channels where it's like the hills and the mountains and the sunrises and all that stuff and walking and hiking and everything too. So for us, that's kind of what a lot of people come into. A lot of people are like, hey, I always wanted a boat. You can get a boat here. You know what I mean? I want an RV. You can get an RV as well here. As far as our breakdown, I would say if you look just in the Sacramento area, just in general, a majority of us, I would say would be like, I don't know, 95% maybe suburban kind of living. And then maybe 5%, maybe closer to midtown or certain areas closer to downtown. You're going to see a little downtown, more of like that vibrant, oh, there's a new restaurant opening up and everything too. Now, one thing I want to know about Charlotte, because in Sacramento, it kind of works this way. We have like suburbs that become their own satellites, right? For us, a lot of people don't go to downtown Sacramento. A lot of people they stay where they are, right? Like, we have areas like Folsom, Roseville. Majority of people will stay kind of in Folsom and they don't really want to deal with the freeways. So their shopping and everything is Folsom. Do you guys kind of need to be close to downtown? Is that something that's like the scene in Charlotte?
I wouldn't say that you have to be. It depends on your lifestyle. But whenever I have a client that is moving into Charlotte, it's really important how quickly they can access Uptown Charlotte. That's going to be where the majority of your jobs are, especially in the financial district. So anyone that's working, Bank of America, Truist, Wells Fargo, any of those is going to want to be close to city center. That's also where you get all of your big sports, right? Your NBA, your NFL. We don't have a MLB baseball team, but we do have the Knights here. And so all of that is going to be in Uptown. So you want to be somewhere accessible to downtown, maybe not 15 minutes away, but you definitely want to be somewhere within an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes to Uptown Charlotte. That is pretty important here. You do have areas that kind of split. Ballantyne is a really good example. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot of restaurants. They've done a lot to make, kind of office buildings, office spaces that people can really access and kind of live there and not have to leave. But truthfully, you are going to go to Uptown because that's just kind of where the big ticket items are. There are other areas. South Park is another area where you can, kind of like hang out and do some things. The new River District that has come is pretty much going to be like a little town. But I don't know that we'll ever get away from that Uptown, like want to go to Uptown, because that's where,
Okay.
if you want to go to lounges, if you want to go to Broadway shows, if you want to go to your high-end restaurants, that's kind of where you're going. So that is
Okay.
important to the Charlotte area. Whereas like it sounds like over there, you've got a lot more pockets.
Well, the thing for us, we have definitely pockets. I don't think we have like kind of like Broadway shows. We don't really have too much of that here. It's more just like, it's just more just laid back living. I mean, Sacramento is just so relaxed that I think that like, everyone will find their local areas to eat and everything too. We're not really that bougie here in Sacramento. We're kind of just laid back and relaxed. I mean, I think a lot of people barbecue in their houses, invite people over and everything too. So we're a little bit more relaxed in that sense. I would say for us, probably the closest thing to an uptown might be maybe like Midtown Sacramento, where you see a lot of like going out at night if you want to, restaurants, there's, fairs and stuff going on there as well too. So that probably is the closest thing that we have. But because of how everything is split up, like we don't have that one freeway that surrounds our metro area. So if like you're in Folsom to get downtown with the 50, it'll be like, good 30 minutes. And a lot of people just don't want to do that. When they look around and they're like, well, I got my restaurant here. I got everything I need here. I just don't want to deal with that, the driving. And traffic tends to be a little bit of something that right now Sacramento is battling with a little bit, because our growth is like, we're growing so fast that our infrastructure is lacking, and we're trying to put the infrastructure in while the growth is happening, but we're growing too fast. I mean, we're putting in so many new homes, so many spots, new schools, new fire departments, new police departments, that our infrastructure, I don't know if our infrastructure here in Sacramento was built for the type of rapid growth Sacramento's having currently, So for you guys, as far as price point, what does that look like? Like, I know various areas are going to be different, but if I'm someone that's going into Charlotte and I say like, I got $500,000, I want to come into Charlotte, I want to buy something nice. Like, what does that look like?
So right now, our average is around 600,000, believe it or not. So that is Mecklenburg County, which is the county that houses Charlotte. So on a median level, you're at about 450, but you're seeing a lot of townhomes. So of course, builders, any piece of parcel they can get their hands on, they are putting a significant amount of townhomes, especially as you get closer to uptown Charlotte. And so 500,000, if I have $500,000, I'm telling my clients to go to the suburbs. So you're looking at a place like maybe Denver, a place like maybe Indian Trail, which is in another county called Union County. So we have over 200 neighborhoods here. So if you want single family home, 500,000, I'm going to say, go out to the outskirts a little bit so that you can get a bigger home, you get some land. You don't feel like you're right on top of your neighbor. Even north, you're seeing places like Troutman open up, places that before weren't really building a whole lot. Mint Hill is another place that's opened up a lot. So it feels like around Mint Hill, you're looking at about 600,000. So $500,000, I'm thinking Indian Trail, Gastonia is a great place to go to. You're going to get a rather large home, about 3,000 square feet for under 500,000. So that's probably where I would recommend. Yeah. Because in the inner city for 500, you're in a townhome at that point.
Okay. See, that's the thing about Sacramento, because we're not like so focused in on going to like Midtown or downtown. What you see a lot more of like the affordable kind of houses tend to be in like the Sacramento proper kind of area. For us, I mean, if you're coming into Sacramento with like $500,000, you can definitely get something in areas like maybe Rosemont, College Glen, like some of the older kind of like maybe built in the 70s houses, ranch style homes, maybe something around like 1900 square feet. Certain areas, maybe like the Natomas area, which is kind of close to downtown, the Rosemont area and everything too. But what ended up happening with Sacramento is that our suburbs became like where all the new stuff happens. All the newer schools are like being like are developing with all these newer communities. So you have some of these areas that have sprouted up, like your Folsoms, your Rosevilles, your El Dorado Hills, that because a lot of the new homes have a taxable bond here, Melrose, like they're paying to have new schools, new fire departments, new police departments. So you have this kind of disconnect a little bit, because you see like in El Dorado Hills where you're like, well, it's further away from downtown, so in theory it should be cheaper. But then all of a sudden you just look at greatschools.org and you're like, what? And then you see some of these houses that are just amazing. So you have these pockets outside of Sacramento that are some of the most like price per square foot, like outside of downtown Sacramento, which for most areas, that's a little bit like, it doesn't make sense a lot, right? Like your area, it seems like the further you're away from uptown, the more affordable things become, correct?
I wouldn't say that. I think it depends on what side of town you're on. For instance, right now, the River District, that's a big deal. It's going to be about a 10 to 12 year project. Right now, it's in its inception. So, I don't even know about 100 homes are sold out there yet. but it's going to be about 2,500 single family homes, 2,500 multifamily homes, a bunch of retail, commercial spaces. There's definitely going to be a school, gas station. Again, it's going to be like its own mini town. But that area, because it is a parcel that was right next to Charlotte Douglas Airport, it is, I mean, it's close to Uptown, but you're starting over there around the 400,000 mark. That's around a
Okay.
townhome. But if you go further up onto the west side of Charlotte, you can pick up a home for, 350, 400 in that area. It's going to be a little older, and it's probably not going to be as upgraded or things like that, but you can get it. Now, so what I'm saying is that not just because you're close to Uptown doesn't mean it's going to be more expensive, but
Okay.
the newer construction, yes, newer construction, you're seeing that they're putting townhomes, and the townhomes are all 450, 500, 550, 600, as you get closer to Uptown. So, but that's more newer construction.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Speaking of newer construction, how does newer construction pricing compare with resale like prices? Because in Sacramento, sometimes our new homes are actually more affordable than our resale homes, and with the incentives being given at new homes, we're seeing a lot of people, especially with higher interest rates, they're saying, oh, hey, if I get a resale home, I'm getting a 6.5. But if I go for a new home, they're offering me like a 4%. And the home is like less than what I'd be paying for a resale home. And I'm getting all these incentives, insulated home and everything too. Yes, they're a little dense, but it's a brand new home. I mean, what does that look like in Charlotte?
I would agree with that. I would say that new construction, because they're able to buy down rates and things like that, they are sometimes coming in neck and neck. But when you're talking about negotiating at this particular point, you're gonna do better with a resale home, because new construction kind of, they set their number, and yes, after a while, if they sit too long, they are going to start to drop that number. But they're a little more hesitant because they know that the lower they drop it, the more they're upsetting their base, right? Because
Oh yeah.
anybody who previously bought is not happy once they see, a 30, 40, $50,000 drop. I mean, I just had this happen. My client just jumped ship and went somewhere else because it was like the same home she was looking at a year before was $100,000 more, and now she was $40,000 away instead of, and got a much better home. So what I'm saying is, like, the newer construction is going to hesitate before they drop those prices, but people are sitting on the market a lot longer. I mean, even though pricing is higher this year, it's sitting on the market longer. The inventory is high. The months of inventory is higher. So you're seeing that people who need to sell their homes are dropping their prices significantly. I mean, sometimes
Well,
$50,000, $100,000.
well, let me ask you something. Okay, this is something for me I've been noticing in our market. How would you compare right now? Like, we're kind of at the middle point. I mean, I know we got June, but like, how would you compare 2025 in Charlotte to 2026? Because for us in Sacramento, there was a little pop maybe about a month ago where we had some really good activity, but it seems to be almost the exact same like year we had last year. I mean, some months a little more, some months a little less, but it seems like we're mimicking what we saw in 2025 here in Sacramento. Well, how about you guys?
I would say the numbers are very similar, listings, pending, everything's very close to what it was last year. I think that what we're seeing this year is that houses are sitting longer. So it's taking longer for them to turn over, which means sellers are dropping the price. And, that could also be the fact that sellers are pricing too high, right? And if you sell way before your equity has built, you're really close to that number that you originally paid. So I'm seeing that homes that are less than 5 years, less than 3 years are really, really struggling to make their numbers. And so people are either I've seen people have to bring money to the closing table,
Yeah.
or just have to stop the process and just kind of take it off the market for a while. So normally you see so much activity at this time, right? Because the schools are, school is ending and parents are willing to, now make changes because they're not disrupting their kids' school year. But things are just sitting. sitting much
Yeah.
longer than they were last year.
Well, I think also like what I factor into a lot of that is that fact is like there are a lot of people who bought and had the 2.75 interest rates and they're like, give me my number or I'm not selling. And then and seller pricing is one of the things that a lot of people don't focus on, but it's definitely something that sets a tone in our market. I mean, if there's a big gap between what buyers are willing to pay and what sellers are willing to offer at, there's that gap. And I think all throughout the United States, you see that gap of like, those are the things that are sitting. You look at it and you're like, oh yeah. I mean, a house just like this sold maybe 2 weeks ago, like for $20,000 less. And you're like, well, the pricing's off. And then you talk to the seller and they might not even need to sell. They might just say, hey, look, I got a realtor calling me up at 5:00 at night, told me he can get me $3 million for my house. And I said, okay, let's do it. And they're just not willing to let it go because they have that idea of that price point that they want for their house and they're not budging. So for me, I think price is something that, that can move the market. When pricing is too high, I think buyers would rather go on vacation. I would rather go on vacation when I see some of these prices too. So, okay. Another big thing is this. A lot of people like you work with are relocations, myself as well too. Our big industries in the Sacramento area have got to be probably medical. It's huge here. We got Kaiser's, Dignity, we have Shriners, we have UC Davis. I mean, we have so many medicals. We have new hospitals being built like almost what seems like almost every single month. And we also have state jobs because we are the state capital. So we see a lot of people coming in for those specific jobs. We have some tech, we have some other stuff, but I'd say our heavy hitters here in Sacramento, and for all you guys looking to move to Sacramento, healthcare. Nurses love it here, doctors love it here, healthcare professionals love it here. And as well, schools with all the new schools as well too. But I would say the heavy hitter for us is health and state. How about Charlotte? If someone's like watching this video and watching it and saying, oh man, this sounds kind of fun, I might want to check out Charlotte. Who are the type of people that you see relocating or what are your heavy industries?
So a lot of who I see relocating will be people in the financial industry. So a lot of banking, anything with brokerages, that's a big like incentive, right? Because we have those kind of jobs. You also see a lot of people who are already retired, like they did something that was, 25 years, 20 years, maybe teaching, police officer, correction officer, and now they're making their way south. So I see that a lot as well. Here, there's going to be a lot of explosion. I mean, we have a project coming up, the Pearl, so that's going to be a 4-year medical school by Atrium. And, so you are going to get some more of the medical field. Teaching isn't as strong here, and we don't have a lot of state jobs either. That's more of your like, DC area, Virginia, Maryland. That's going to be more of that push. And they're probably going to stay up there because it's just there's more jobs up there in that area. Okay. But we are very heavily focused on finance here.
Okay. So let me ask you something. Okay. So if there was an area in the Charlotte area where you said to yourself, I wish I would have bought there 5 years ago, where would it be?
So one of my absolute favorite areas is South Park. I feel like South Park, if I could have bought there 12 years ago, that's where I would have been. It's a beautiful area, has the best mall, hands down. It has great restaurants nearby. It's just like an area that like now has exploded, and it would have been like an amazing area to buy into. Ballantyne's another one of those areas. It's about 30, 35 years old in terms of being master planned. And it would have been a really, really good place to set roots in. So those are like my favorites. Okay. But I don't regret like any of the places that I've lived. So, but like when you're talking about making a bang for your buck, that would have been an amazing area to start off with.
Oh yeah. Here it would probably be like, cause everything popped up like 5 years ago. I mean, 5 years ago, what? You probably get yourself a 2.75 and then you could just get into some crazy stuff. Like Granite Bay did amazing. Folsom did amazing, but those areas have always had high demand. Maybe like your East Rosevilles would have been good. I mean, 5 years ago, there's so many spots that I look at and I go, ugh, Man, I can't believe I didn't go buy my lottery ticket back then. And a lot of people made out like bandits. I mean, what I noticed in the Sacramento area is a lot of people 5 years ago, and just when COVID was happening and rates were low, people were buying their forever homes. I mean, I run into more people that we worked with and people that, just say to me, I bought my home I have a 2 point, some people even say 2.25, but some 2.75 interest rate. It's my dream home. You're going to have to carry me out of that home. This is my home. So I think in Sacramento, a lot of people did their move and they're like, this is it. I'm making my move and this is the only move, because moving isn't fun. So people kind of made that jump into areas that, in retrospect, I'm sure they're smiling. I mean, you go somewhere right now and you're like, even if it's like an area that's maybe even like more expensive than you could afford currently, back then at a 2.75, I mean, wow. Like, you're loving life. I mean, that's just amazing for me. Okay, so I'm going to hit you with some fun things, and I'll go back to myself as well too. If there are some areas, if someone calls you up and says, I have $400,000 and I want to buy something in the Charlotte area, and let's do some variables on this. Let's say I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and I want it to be around 2,000 square feet. So we're going 400,000. Where would that be for you? Where would be one of the spots?
Single family.
Yeah, let's do that. Single family home.
So I would say I'm probably looking at a place like Wingate, which is in Union County, pretty far out, but you can still get new construction in that price point. And another one of my really, really top areas, and I love it so much that people actually think I live there, is Kannapolis. That's in Cabarrus County, like Concord area. Concord's gonna be a little on the more expensive side because of the schools, but that area up there is really, that 400 will get you, something decent, very decent. And Statesville, that's another area. I think Denver would have been an area that I would have been taking my clients, but I think that's pushing more 500, 550 at this point. I did want to like piggyback on something you said earlier about
Hit me.
lakes. So Charlotte is known for 2 major lakes, and that's Lake Norman and Lake Wiley. And Lake Norman is an area that exploded because people love that kind of lifestyle. They can boat out there and still get to uptown pretty quickly, 20, 25 minutes. And so that's another area that if you bought in, like, you're sitting on a nice gold mine. So
Oh, okay. I mean, for me, I also think about it like, because once you see areas that have exploded, then all of a sudden you say to yourself, what will be the next ones to pop, right? You look and you're looking at areas, you're looking at new spots. I mean, for us in Sacramento, you got the Rail Yards project, you got areas like Elk Grove that are super hot. Areas also like in Sacramento, what they'll do is they'll just grab this huge acreage of land, throw it out in the middle of nowhere and start building, and all of a sudden it becomes the next big. That's how Folsom developed, and Folsom's a powerhouse. Roseville the same way. So for me, I look at a lot of that stuff in Sacramento and the growth, the potential. I mean, we're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, I mean, for me, I would say for 400, I don't know if there's anywhere really in Sacramento right now that I would say that is like, that would be my go-to. I would say if you're looking at 400, you'd have to go like to the outskirts, maybe like a Plymouth Lake or Linda, where it's like maybe a half hour to 45 minutes from Sacramento and Roseville. It's just 400 for us is not really like, I don't know if it would really work that well, especially for something for 2,000 square feet. Okay, so let's go to the next price point. Let's go 600.
600. Okay. So 600, I'm definitely taking you Monroe, Indian Trail, Denver. Denver is one of my absolute favorites. And the reason why is because of Lake Norman. So it's actually like one side of Lake Norman is kind of closer to Huntersville, Cornelius, Mooresville. That side is closer to Uptown. But then you have the Denver side, which is on the opposite side. And so you have a lot of great materials, hardy, stone, brick, which is another issue, right? As you get kind of closer to that Uptown Charlotte mark, you're seeing a lot of vinyl, which a lot of my clients tend to not be attracted to. I think just by virtue of having been an interior designer and having that background, people are attracted to me because of design. So they really want really quality craftsman materials. They don't want vinyl. Not that there's anything wrong with vinyl. I mean, I live in a vinyl home. It's fine. It's just the fact that if it cracks or anything like that, it's hard to replace, and so they just want sturdier materials. So, but 600,000, yeah, and you're still Mint Hill is another area that I
Okay.
really like for 600,000. Parts of Harrisburg. So there are a lot of areas that you can get. 600,000 is a very healthy budget here.
Okay. For us, I think that like it's still 600 is still hard to get into some of the areas, suburbs in the Sacramento area. But for 600, for me, 2,000 square feet, I'd probably be looking somewhere near the college. I mean, I think there's some areas there you can get something nice over there. I would say at 600, new homes. I mean, you could pretty much go to like a lot of the new home areas that we have here in Rancho, West Roseville, and everything. You could do pretty well there. And for 2,000 square feet, I'd say maybe old Roseville as well too, but it's still a price point that, I mean, if you look at it, here's the thing, like if you look at it maybe 5 or 6 years ago, 600 buys you so much more, but right now it's just a very, very, very hard thing to do. All right, how about 850? How are you looking like, and what kind of, like, I'm telling you, like, does 850 in Charlotte, how far does that go?
Yeah, so 850 is going to put you in an area like a very high demand area like Huntersville. Nice, really, really nice home in those areas, like a MI Homes, which I really like them. I think they're a great builder. You're even looking at potentially David Weekley. He's a great builder. Some Toll Brother communities you can potentially get into, like a Griffith Lakes community, you'd be able to get into for that price point. So 850, yeah, you're looking at a more premium builder, like a Tri Point. That's another one. You're looking at a premium builder with, nice probably 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and a 2-car garage, decent material. So 850 is a great budget here.
Okay. For us, 850 for 3 and 2 for 2,000 square feet. There's probably only a few markets that this is going to be hard to do. Maybe like a Granite Bay, maybe like a Loomis. 850 can still do it in El Dorado Hills in some of our market. 850 for us for 3 and 2, 2,000 square feet. It's definitely like doable here in the Sacramento area. And you're going to probably find something probably with a pool and all that stuff too. So, I mean, yeah, 850 here, you could definitely make that happen for 3 and 2. Now, if you're looking for something like a little bit bigger, that resort style vibe, in certain areas, you're probably looking maybe like 950 to $1 million and plus. The funniest part is like 5 years ago, $1 million was a kind of a rare thing, but now having $1 million listings, I mean, you see them pop on the market like all the time now. Our market is just like exploding like crazy. So, okay, for you guys, as far as like, what would you say would be the top 3 kind of like places that you're seeing a lot of first-time home buyers buy?
First-time home buyers. So single family.
Yep, let's do it.
Are you thinking single family? Okay. Just because we have so many townhomes that I have to ask, single family or town.
Okay, yeah,
So
no.
I would say for a first-time home buyer, they're probably looking some parts of North Charlotte, Gastonia, great place to buy. Um, I would say even areas like Monroe, you're going to get, the first time home buyers can do really well out there, and resale homes. I mean, when you were talking about 850, you can do resort living here at 850, very handsomely. You can do it. And so I would say that in terms of obviously, all like when I think California, I just think $1 million right off the bat, but here, $1 million, you're talking about luxury premium builder, all brick, right? Which is something you never see anymore. All brick or three car garages. Yeah, you have to be at 950 and up for something like that.
All
So
right.
I would say, yeah.
Okay, we got a question. Ask, what are halfbacks? Are they still a thing?
Oh, yeah.
I
So
don't
where
even know
they
what that
kind of
is.
move to Florida, so they move all the way south, and then they So they start north, move south, and then kind of come somewhere in the middle. And we're kind of in the middle at North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia. So you're coming back from most likely Florida.
Oh, okay, okay. I literally have never heard that before. So, you know,
Yeah.
okay. So let's jump
I
into
have a
this.
question for you, Mark.
Hit me.
I hear you talk about Melrose all the time. What is this?
Okay, so check this out. In Sacramento, Melrose is one of the things people absolutely cannot stand. It's California used to pay for. I kid you not. Okay, so check this out. California used to pay for Melrose, and what ends up happening is, like, let's say you buy a brand new home, you're getting a smoking deal in the home, you're getting a great rate, and then all of a sudden they say, oh yeah, your Melrose is going to be $350, $450, sometimes even as high as like $700 a month, and people are like, what is Melrose? Well, Melrose is a taxable bond that gets thrown on various areas to help build up the areas, right? Or it's going to look like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome forever. And so normally in some states will pay for it. But here in California, the Melrose is passed on to the buyers. So you say, okay, I'm going to buy my house. I'm going to pay for home insurance, solar, everything too. Some have HOA, some don't. But you have a Melrose tax that added to your property taxes. And it can be anywhere from like $350 a month. It can be anywhere from like, $350, $250. It varies between communities and areas. But what you notice about that as well too is that's what funds the new schools, police departments, fire departments, sidewalks, and everything too. So as much as like people hate the Melrose, I can tell you this, if you didn't pay Melrose and nothing was being built in an area and you lived in this random community that you had to get to by dirt road and you popped into your community, you might love your house, but I guarantee you it wouldn't appreciate nearly as fast as it does. Now, do I think Melrose should be picked up a little bit more by the builders? Yeah, absolutely. I think builders make a killing with new homes, but they don't pick up a lot of the Melrose, so it gets passed on to the buyer. But that's what funds everything in Sacramento as far as all the schools, fire departments, police departments. It's a Melrose tax that's laid on. So if we create an area, like we have an area called West Roseville that's being built up, and there's 3 different like sub areas in West Roseville. And the Melrose, if you look at earlier communities like Fittymint, which is an area that they built up with Melrose, it has some of the brand new schools. These schools look like little mini colleges, and you see the top of the line schools. And I mean top of the line, but I mean brand new, new flooring, new roofs. I mean, they just look just brand new. And you see fire departments that are new, police departments that are new, roads, and you see these parks. Because Sacramento back in the day, before these new homes started being built and crazy, we didn't have really, I mean, we had parks, we had trails and mountains and everything too. But I mean, now it's like, it's the birth of those Texas videos you see with these amazing parks. Like, we're getting stuff like that here. We're getting like surf parks. We're getting like parks that have splash pads for the kids and everything too. And so that's the Melrose tax coming into effect and paying for all that stuff so that there's parks, everyone can go for like walks if they want to and everything too. So that stuff is developing right now in the Sacramento area. And yeah, we got Derek here as well too. And Derek actually, he's a very big supporter of West Roseville, which is an area that has been built up with new homes, like great builders, JMC, Tri-Point, everything too. And because of all the Melrose that's been kind of poured into it, again, people don't like Melrose, so they might hate me for giving it a little props. West Roseville, everything's new there. Everything. It's weird. You drive in there, it's like Amazon stores that there's no one working there, but you kind of go in there and you buy stuff and, everything's brand new. The schools are being built right now as we speak, and they just keep going and going and going. So that's Melrose for the most part. And people don't like it. One is you can't really control it because it isn't like an HOA thing where if someone says, let's raise Melrose, they're like, no, you know what I mean? Like, let's raise HOA. You could say no if you're on the HOA board. But for Melrose, they can lay over another bond if they want to. Like if they're, we're building 3 more schools, you can lay. So Melrose is something that's not really controllable, and it lasts anywhere between 20 and 40 years,
How many years?
20 to 40. I mean, I tell people just don't worry too much about it. And just being honest, like it's going to probably be there after part of how you sell the house. And a lot of areas, they've been having Melrose for a while. So you can go into areas that have been building new homes for a while. And there's even 5-year-old homes that the Melrose tax is still part of that thing. And the best way to find Melrose too, guys, for anyone asking about this Melrose thing, is to go to the government websites for Sacramento County, Placer County, and you can actually download the tax bill of any home for the previous year. And if you see line items called Melrose, that's what the Melrose tax is. So.
Okay, well, don't tell anybody about that in Charlotte.
No, you guys
We
don't
don't
have
want.
it. That's kind of interesting. Okay,
Oh
let me answer. Here's the thing. Brother, what about our meeting? We're on them. Look, here's the thing. We can talk thumbnails design, but not on Sunday evening or anything too. If you want to, we can meet about that, but it doesn't mean I'm going to guarantee you I'm going to go with you. So just, we can talk maybe a couple days this week, but relax a little bit and we'll have a meeting. Okay. I'm coming next week. Good. The weather is perfect. It's a little windy here for you, but it's awesome. And it's gonna be fun. I mean, Sacramento is just right now interesting. Like for me, and I'll tell you something, the last couple of weeks, it's been a little slower. Interest rates have been kind of going up and everything has kind of slowed down just a little bit. We had a boom, a pop for a reason, but you saw rates. I mean, they were going up. Now they're kind of going down. I mean, and I think a lot of buyers are kind of wondering what's going on, So how's Charlotte's market like right now? Would you say it's still pretty like going? Because I mean, this is go time. This is like move the kids out of school, move to the new house. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, this is prime time. And you're seeing activity, but not as much as you want to see at this time frame, because this is it, June, July, August, this is when everybody, kind of comes out of hibernation and is ready to go. But you said something really important earlier, which is so many people are sitting on low interest rates, right? And they do not want to make a move. And so someone like me, right, who had an interior design background, who still has an interior design background, you're seeing people take their homes and improve them, right? They're putting additions on them. They're doing things to the backyard, adding a pool, adding, hardscapes, just improving their own homes instead of moving, which is, a challenge. I mean, it's smart, but it's a challenge because we're not getting the inventory that we need. Right. And so this is why it's so important right now in this time frame for sellers to kind of put the best product they can out there, because buyers have choices. They literally do. I had a buyer look at almost 50 homes. So buyers have choices at this point. And so,
well, that's the interesting thing. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people who have these 2.75s can take home equity loans out or whatnot on their house. They can throw in, build another room if they want to, put the pool in the backyard if they feel like it. We're having that problem here in Sacramento too. A lot of people are like, I'm not giving up my 2.75. It's like a badge of honor, and also with the people buying now, you have someone going, I'm going to buy a house. And they're like, are you crazy? Rates are so high. I bought at 2.75. Ha, 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 ha. And people are like, man, should I be buying now?
Right.
It makes no sense to,
right?
Yeah, it's like, and I get it. I mean, but it's hard. Once Pandora's box was open and you saw that 2.75s were possible and they existed, it's hard. But I tell people all the time, unless some weird black swan event happens, I'm not going to see 2.75s in my lifetime. It was something that got lucky, and it just is. Okay. So here's the thing about Charlotte. Another thing too about Sacramento is that Sacramento has certain areas that have those like Edwardian, Victorian, kind of old school classical houses built in the 20s, 30s, 40s. And that stuff is a little bit more towards downtown, like your East Sacramento's, your land parks, you know what I mean? There's certain areas that have those, like in East Sacramento, you can find houses with basements. And that's not a common thing here in Sacramento at all. Most of it's like raised slab, but basements are hard to find. And, where do you go in Charlotte if you want kind of like, if you're saying, you know what, I do not want a track home. I don't want a home. I don't want to do that. I don't want to see, because a lot of people have that in their head. They're like, I don't want to have the same house that Bob has over there. I want something unique, something individual, something that's a little bit more like that. Like for us, that's East Sacramento. That's Land Park. That's those areas downtown that are like built in the 20s, 30s, 40s. How about for you? Where is that in Charlotte?
I feel like there aren't that many of those areas. Plaza Midwood is an example where they do have some Victorian homes, the Stickley, but you don't see a whole lot of it because we're heavy new construction, right? There's a lot of new construction here, and the new construction kind of looks the same way, except for maybe a builder like TriPoint that kind of has like their own style,
Okay.
or a more builder like Copper Builders or JP Orleans, something like that. But a lot of them are building, like I will see homes and I'm seeing the same home, the same floor plan, exactly the same floor plan from a variety of different builders. So we don't have a lot of that. I would say Plaza Midwood is one of those. Uptown actually has some of those homes as well, which is, I was super surprised the very first time I saw that there were neighborhoods of single family homes inside of Uptown Charlotte, because it really reads like it has a skyline. It kind of reads like a baby New York City. And then here you have like these homes, this little pocket. So again, you don't see them a lot, but here and there, some neighborhoods do have them. But I feel like people, just kind of, when they're in Rome, they do what Romans do. They just buy what they need for their families, and kind of what fits for their lifestyle. And you're not going to find a whole lot of like farmhouse homes here. There are, but not that many. That Spanish tile kind of home, you don't see a lot of those. I have seen them, but they're not that many. So if you're looking for something specific like that, you're probably looking at a custom build at that point. You're going to buy some land and do your own thing.
Okay. That's the thing about Sacramento that's interesting, is that it's something I think sometimes we take for granted. We have like golf course communities. We have the old school neighborhoods like East Sacramento, where you can get something built in the 20s and 30s that have basements. We also have like, farmhouse luxury living in like your Loomis and your Grant Bay area, where people can buy these like houses. I mean, we have so many different types of homes and stuff people can buy. Like, I mean, there's literally in Newcastle, I remember doing a video for like a cattle ranch, right? That was beautiful, decked out, amazing. So you can kind of have everything you want here, which is really nice. And for us, like a lot of our, like everyone, I mean, I always talk on the show about like, oh, Tahoe's like an hour and a half away, like San Francisco's an hour and a half away. Everything's kind of close by. But if you ask the average person who lives here in Sacramento, there's enough stuff here that keeps you occupied. I mean, I talk about Tahoe, this and everything too. I go to Tahoe a couple times a year. Napa, I don't really do that too much. Bay Area, maybe twice a year, maybe see my family. But I mean, we like to kind of stay in this little hub because, and if you are a golfer, you have those golf course communities. If you're like, you like to hike and you like to bike, just walk outside and you're good to go. So we're kind of a little bit spoiled here. I mean, you can literally find almost any type of style of home and lifestyle here in Sacramento, which is nice. So let me ask you, okay, so for Charlotte, if someone's moving into Charlotte and they're like, okay, because usually like for Sacramento, it's usually this. It's hot. I hear it's hot in Sacramento. And it is, summertime, we have our hot like months, and it is what it is. You go in the pool, it's hot, you're in your air conditioning. Yeah, it is one of those things. And that's one of the things I tell people. I'm like, for me, when I moved into Sacramento, the heat was the biggest thing for me, right? That's just for me. Everything else, love the people, love the area, love the houses. Everything was perfect. The heat got me a little bit. I'm a Bay Area boy, so like for me, 85 degrees is hot. So like I was a little baby about that. So it was like, what would you say about Charlotte? What are the things that if someone had never been to Charlotte and they're saying, all right, what are the things I got to watch out for? What are the things that are making people actually want to move out of Charlotte? What would you say would be something?
So it's not going to be weather. We actually had, like, that is one of the number one things that people move here for, because we have all four seasons, but it doesn't get very, very cold here. So you
Okay.
could literally be in December with no coat. Something that does bother, especially people that are coming from urban cities, is the transit system. There isn't a whole lot of, there is some access to public transportation, and they are working. There's like $19 billion being poured into expanding the light rail so that it does hit the Charlotte Douglas Airport. It hits the Belmont area. It's going to hit Carolina Place Mall. Like, it's supposed to expand further out than where it is now. But that's difficult for people who are not used to driving. I know I lived in New York and I didn't drive that much. I only drove on the weekends. So, of course, I knew how to drive, so it wasn't an issue. But when people move down here and they don't know how to drive or don't like to drive, um, they feel, kind of like, oh, this is frustrating. But unless you're in a big city like that anyway, you are going to have to drive. I'm sure over there in California, you have to drive. So that would
Yeah.
be something that would be something that would bother people here, and also the infrastructure. But you're having the same problem in California where it's like we have 2 lanes and the traffic is just getting ridiculous, right? Because we need 4-lane highways, we need 6-lane highways, to be able to get around much quicker. And as well as the schools, we need more schools. We just need more of everything, pretty much. The other thing that I told you, like off air, is that I feel like the food scene needs to be a little stronger here. But I'm also from New York, where you could have any kinds of food that you wanted to, any kinds.
You
And
cannot
so
compare
here,
anywhere in the United States with
yeah,
New
that's
York,
true.
though.
That's true. But the food scene, sometimes I'm like, like I wish it was a little stronger. I mean, I have my favorite places that I go to, my tried and true, but that's something that I wish would improve. And then also like small businesses supporting that, kind of. I was used to having like a lot of local places that had a lot of strong support. So I'd like to see that grow a little bit more here too.
All
So.
right. I have a secret to tell you. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento's public transportation sounds worse than yours. I mean, people move. I mean, I kid you not. People move into Sacramento and they don't even have expectations that there is public transportation in Sacramento.
Right.
Everyone's just like, I got cars. I need a 3-car garage. My kids are going to be going to school. There's not even that idea that there's even a viable solution for public transportation here. There isn't. I mean, I've seen, during the week, I might see a bus or two here and there, but public transportation isn't it's Sacramento, for the most part, in the Sacramento area, it is a driving area. That's it. We have 1 million cars, 1 million like arteries to get from point to, we got a little traffic thing going on, not like the Bay Area, not like that. So we're not going to whine about that. But yes, we are driving and our public transportation sounds like it's way worse than yours. Yeah. It's pretty kind of non-existent at this point. We're trying to make efforts to get it going because it would be nice to have like our light rail, our Amtrak doing more stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, our public transportation is just not that great. And with the infrastructure also of our freeways being worked on, that's our big Achilles heel right now. And the funny thing is, like, there's these areas that they're building new homes and, like in Folsom, and they built like, I don't know, 12, 13,000 new homes over there too. And they had one street to go in and out. I mean, they literally built with one street. And I'm like, and if you go there now at 5 o'clock and you try to get off the freeway it's like a bottleneck. Like it's like a line, like, like the new iPhone, everyone's hanging out the freeway because they were like, let me think, let's put in 12,000 new houses. Let's put in one street that people can go in and out of, and let's see how that works for everybody. So I think infrastructure is pretty. It needs to be worked on probably all over. I mean, we're growing. It sounds like you're growing like crazy as well too.
Oh yeah. But we're not quite where, like, when you go to, let's say, Miami or Houston, where the highways are all over each other. Like, we're not quite there yet. We're just trying to expand, like, east and west. Like, we're not even, like, to the point where we're having overpasses quite right now. But we do have Easy Pass and HOV, which I never used to see before. So you are getting a lot more of that because, people need to get around and there's too many people here for the amount of roads that currently exist. So, but that seems to be a problem everywhere. Anywhere that's attracting a lot of people. Let's put it that way.
All right.
I
got
love
Corey.
that. Our public transportation
I know.
is catching a ride. I love that.
The funny thing is, I'll call out our public transportation. There's people who are like, no, we have the light rail. I'm like, have you been on the light rail? No. So yeah, it kind of is what it is. I mean, we're driving, we drive. That's what we do. All right, we got Derek. Can you help me buy a home in Clovis, California? Absolutely. Derek, we got you, man. Reach out. All right, this is gonna be an interesting one. Who are the best quality builders in you all opinions? What do you think? As far as in Charlotte, what are like if you had to say, what are the builders that? Because okay, here's my thought. Right now, the new homes are becoming a little bit more of a staple. Right, because of COVID, it seems like new homes have just been like turbo. Right, they're gone. People are buying more new homes probably in Sacramento than resale at times. You know, it's crazy. So I do think that what you're noticing now is when you go to sell your home, the brand that you bought becomes very, very important to when you sell it. If you buy a Toll Brothers home, you put in the listing description, Toll Brothers home or Taylor Morrison home or something like this. So like, as far as like brands, as far as like, and you can't really go quality because I think it does play towards the price point, right? I think, you know, if you pay a little bit less, the finishes won't be as much, you know, but what do you think as far as in Charlotte? What would you say would be, if someone said to you, I'm going for like, the builders, who would you recommend getting me that like luxury builder, the quality build and quality is subjective.
See, that's what I wanted to know. Are we talking production or are we talking luxury?
Okay, let's just say, let's not go bougie luxury, but let's go with someone who says, I want to get a house that, you know, I can walk into and feel like, okay, this is my, like, you know, it's a hard thing to qualify. Let's say this, which builders have never given you problems as far as building or as far as that stuff goes? Like what builders, if someone goes into Charlotte and says, I have $800,000, I'm looking for something, like, where would you go?
I mean, I think they all give problems. I think it just depends on whoever the project managers are. So I will say that. My preferred builders that I think deliver a very strong product that you don't have to fight with the superintendent would be, hands down to me, probably my number one is going to be Taylor Morrison. I really, really have had really great experiences with them. Really strong, still giving luxury features like casing, you know, trim work, because you're seeing the windowsills, which a lot of builders are taking away. So I love that about Taylor Morrison, that they still include some of those features. Crown molding, tray ceilings, right? Because you see that the more they try to make a profit, the less they give you. So I would say Taylor Morrison, TriPoint. And TriPoint I like because their product is different. It kind of stands out among the rest. It has a lot more of a farmhouse contemporary feel here than some of the other ones. I would say Toll Brothers is still way up there as well. Empire Communities is another one that's strong. Shea Homes. Shea Homes was really, really strong. They left the North Carolina market for a while and they've come back. Empire kind of took a lot of their plans, so they kind of have like a similarity about them. And then I would say if you're going up to like a luxury builder, a little bit more luxury, Keystone is one here. And then also Arthur Ruttenberg, but that's like really like high up there. You're talking about like 2 million or something like that. But they're amazing. They have a ton of floor plans. They tend to build in that modern style. So, but I would say you're talking production builder, something that's maybe middle of the road. I would say Taylor Morrison is probably my number one.
I've sold maybe, I don't know, maybe like over 100 Taylor homes. And you know, I haven't had any issues with Taylor. I think the salespeople are amazing. And I think you're right. What you were saying for the most part is that like, it's not that it's like good builder, bad builder. It's you're right on the money when you said about the superintendent. And it's not like they have a machine of builders and they separate them all throughout the county. Build crew, superintendents to kind of vet out who's doing what, you know, working with the right realtor as well too, to be able to go over the contracts and be able to work with you on inspections as well. But it's like anything else also. I often tell people this, it's like Toyota, right? In theory, everyone's like, Toyota's an amazing car, right? Toyota's reliable. Toyota's this. But I guarantee you out of like 50 Toyotas that are built, there's going to be problems in maybe about 2 or 3 of them, right? It just is the way it is. So for me, I'm more about like which ones are good and they don't do these are the things I hate. Right? One is they won't undercut you, i.e., sell you the home for $800,000, and then the next person walks in the door, they sell it to him for $750,000. Like that drives me absolutely nuts. And we know who I say normally does that, and we all know this. It starts with a big L. Now the other one that drives me absolutely nuts is once you close a deal, and here's a big trick for you guys too. If you guys are going down the road with a builder and they're giving you great service and they're there and you see them there in the sales office and people are there, chances are that's probably going to be the same service you get once you close as well too. You're never going to get the perfect house. It's never going to be brand new, spanking new. It is brand new. Everything is mint. Everything is great. You want to make sure that whichever builder you go with, if you have problems, they're there for you. You know, they have a track record for it. Talk to the neighbors who bought at that community. See the vibe there. How many homes do they have on the market? Is that a red flag for you to say, oh my God, this builder it looks good, but they've had 12 homes on the market that have been sitting for the last 3 months. Is that a possible red flag? There's certain warning signs you can see. But for me, you know, as far as quality goes, it's a tough one, right? I would say I see builders sometimes like a DR Horton sometimes, and maybe like, KB, where you go to the second floor and the ceiling seems to shrink maybe a half foot, or like the doorways aren't as high as they are in some other homes. But that's also something that some people might go, I don't care about that. I got a house for like $650 and it's like 3,000 square feet. So it's a very subjective thing to do, but I would interview the superintendent. I would talk to the neighbors. I would do research, because at this point in time, guys, Nextdoor forums blow up for all these new home communities. And I would also work with a realtor that actually works in this space, as opposed to someone who's just a journeyman kind of walking through. I do a lot of resale, but I can work with you on it. New homes are their own kind of like bag of tricks, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Even like when you're talking about those like minute details, like for example, I started to notice that a lot of builders, instead of building their tray ceilings up, they're building them down, right? So like a ceiling that's supposed to be maybe 11 feet is now 10 feet. Well, it's actually less than 10 feet because they're coming downwards instead of up, if that makes sense. So they're dropping the ceiling in order to create the tray, which makes sense because the trusses, right? They need to not make so many changes to the trusses, but it's something that I can clearly see, like it's not creating a higher ceiling, right? It's just creating the effect. But a lot of clients don't even notice stuff like that, or don't notice that there are no windowsills, right? So I'm like, okay, well, at least if I have windowsills, I can put casing, but I have no windowsills, so I have to put everything. So, I'm someone that I can see like the vision, right? I can say, hey, no matter what, hey, I'm going to come in here and put crown molding. I'm going to come in here and put chair rail. Like, I'm not worried about that. But baseboards, like, I'm not going to change that after the fact. If the baseboard is 3 inches, I can't fix that, So in interior design, a good baseboard is going to be at least 7, 8 inches. So, but, that's not something that, if you're not paying attention to it, that's why I love certain builders, because they're going to give you that already without you even having to ask. And there are other ones that are really strong. Saucy Burbank is another one that I really like. They're doing some really beautiful things out here, but you don't see them that often. So that's why I gave you the big ones, because I know you have some of the same ones over there.
For you, do you guys have a builder called Shawwood?
No.
Okay. So Shawwood's a unique builder here in the Sacramento area. They're a Japanese company that builds totally different. Their wood is actually furniture grade wood. It is probably the most unique building, and they're premium, of course. They're in the million, million, 1.3, 1.4, but their build quality is something I've never seen before. Like it feels like you're buying something that is like a piece of art. Shawwood is just crazy, and they're a company. Like I said, they're out of Japan. They bought a bunch of these companies in the United States. Like I think Richmond American is also underneath them as well too, and they're transforming the build quality of stuff here. They built in Temecula, and now they're building in. But the build quality is just phenomenal. I would say in our area, if you're looking for like bougie, Toll Brothers is definitely up there. Shawwood doesn't build as much in the Sacramento area. They build a active community up in Lincoln. Let me think. And for us, it would be a builder kind of locally California-ish, like Tim Lewis. They build some stuff, but they haven't really built too many like amazing luxury communities just yet. But I think Toll Brothers, I think also, one of the things that's getting a lot more popular in Sacramento is custom homes. A lot of people are saying, well, am I going to pay like $3 million for like a Toll Brothers home? Or am I going to buy a piece of land and build the home exactly the way I want to, have maybe a little space between the neighbors, set the home back so I have a nice big, driveway and everything too. And custom homes are becoming big business here. How's it in Charlotte?
So I wouldn't say that it's as popular, but I have seen a lot of builders do the build on your lot. So they're taking their floor plans and building it on a lot that you may have already purchased or that you're getting ready to purchase. And so you're getting the added benefit of them looking at the lot, seeing if it is even plausible to put the actual structure on there, which is important, right? Because if you're building a custom home for the first time, that is a lot to take on. So I'm not seeing it as much, but I do see a lot of the build on your lots happening. But custom, there's always going to be people that want that because they want to be able to make all the choices themselves. But it is a little harder to find a lot that, because then you've got septic, you've got well, you've got all the things that come along with that, architects, engineers, and, so I'm not seeing it as much here.
Do you guys have active communities? I mean, I'm sure you do. Do you have active communities, plus 55 communities in Charlotte?
So yes, we do.
Okay.
We got a Del Webb recently, really, really beautiful community. And they're, one of the top builders of that. Toll Brothers does it. Actually, if you watch the way Toll Brothers builds, I don't know if they do it over there, but they do it here. So they don't register for 55 plus, but they build like it's a 55 plus community. So they'll put a lot of ranch homes or story and a half. And so it'll appeal to them. But then when you go to resell it, now it's opened up to anyone. But they won't allow playgrounds on the premises. So they'll do certain things to make it feel that way and to attract that audience, but without actually labeling it, which I think is brilliant. I think that's such a smart thing.
They've never tried it out here. I mean, Toll Brothers does have an active community. It's a plus 55 active community. They're very strict on the rules there too. But I'm surprised they haven't tried it out here yet, because that would be just very, very interesting. Because active communities here in Sacramento, they're big business. I mean, we got like active communities almost in every area, like Lincoln, Rockland. We got active communities, everything. Lennar does a lot of heritage communities as well. For us, it really helps our market, because you see a lot of people who, who have these big houses, their kids are gone, and they have these like big 3,000, 4,000 square foot homes. And they're saying to themselves, well, I don't really want to sell my home and then end up buying something with a high interest rate and downsizing and maybe getting less of a home, or whatnot. And so what you see a lot of people is, because the active communities always have promotions and incentives, they can do pretty good over there. So yeah, for us, active communities are huge. So it's not bad. So for you guys in Charlotte, what are the biggest funnel markets coming into Charlotte? If I said to you, okay, you're going to do 10 calls, you're going to get 10 calls from relos, where would those relos coming from?
Primarily on my side, they're primarily coming from like the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Ohio, Massachusetts. I get California sometimes. Yeah, that's where you're seeing like most of the people coming from. I kind of feel like if they're already somewhere in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area, they kind of stay there. And then if they want to go to Florida, like if they just want Florida, like they want no income tax, no state income tax anyway. And if they just want, hot and beaches, there's really no way to kind of bring them back. They want to be in Florida. So, and I would say that probably the only way they do come back, which would be the halfbacks, right, would be because of weather, because it's either too hot, or for insurance reasons or something like that. But most of my clientele is going to come from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, that kind of hub. So,
okay. For us, it's the Bay Area. That's a big hub coming in here. As far as Los Angeles, we get a lot of people from California. We're kind of like their last stop, and they're like, you know what? We want California. We still love it here, and we just need to have that California living, but we just don't want to pay the ticket price of like, the Bay Area, Los Angeles. Those are a lot of the people that come here specifically. A lot of people will move out of Sacramento, move out of California, but because California, like Sacramento in relation to California, to some of the areas like in Los Angeles or Southern California and the Bay Area, we're very affordable compared to those areas. But if you compare us to like a Houston or a Dallas or something like this, we're still pretty pricey. You know what I mean? So we get a lot of people who are like, I'm out of here. I'm leaving California. California ain't for me. They'll leave California. And we get a call a couple years later and they're like, we want to come back, but we can't. Prices are keep getting higher and higher and higher. It's hard to leave California and jump back in because the market here, appreciation, it wasn't fantastic the last couple of years, but we're steadily kind of growing and developing. Sacramento, when I first started doing like real estate, you can get a nice house for like 300,000. And now it's like, it's hard to get anything underneath maybe 500. It's just a tough nut to crack. So for us, our feeder markets, Bay Area, Los Angeles, and ours, I guess you guys call it like halfbacks, or people who are like, they go to Texas and they're like, I saw one of those amazing houses on YouTube. I'm going to go there. Then they realize that it's pretty humid over there too. And they're not happy there. And then they call back up and they're like, yeah, I kind of want to move back in. I got to wait for my Texas house to sell.
Right.
Crickets. So that's what we find a lot of times here, which is for me kind of interesting. So now let's hit some of this stuff real quick because I know it's late in Charlotte. Okay, so as far as you, like, what are things?
It's way past my bedtime, Mark. Way past.
I know, and you got deals to close and all that stuff too. Oh, we got for my man. We got bro. We need to get you reacquainted with Napa Wine Fine Day. It's a natural habit for your JMMs. I know. Tell me what I'm wearing tonight. All right. So here's the thing for me. As far as Charlotte goes, I get a lot of people, and I even have a call tomorrow with a couple that are like, we want to find out if Sacramento is the right spot for us. So what are the questions a person will like call up and say, okay, I'm thinking about Charlotte because, a lot of people will call me up and say, I'm thinking maybe going to Austin. I'm thinking about maybe Sacramento. I'm thinking maybe here and there and everything too. What are some of the things that surprise people when they're on the phone with you about Charlotte where they're like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Like what? Oh, that's pretty cool. Like what are the things that because for me, I love shouting from the rooftop how amazing Sacramento is. I'm like, I could go on the phone for like, as you guys know, for hours talking about Sacramento. Amazing. Like what are the things that you tell people about Charlotte and why Charlotte makes sense for someone who might be thinking about moving somewhere?
So, okay. So I thought you were going to like, what are the positives and the negatives? But if I'm just talking,
let's do a little role play. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for taking my call. I'm thinking about moving to Charlotte. I'm just not really sure. Like, can you tell me a little bit about Charlotte, why it might be a great spot for me? Thinking about moving my family. It looks really fun. Like, what's it all about?
So, one of the things that I think really attracts people to Charlotte is the fact that it is a city, right? So you're going to have access to, pretty much everything you need, retail, shopping, beautiful homes, but you also get some of that small town feel. It's not too big and it's not too small. You also get great weather. You're going to be able to move out to the suburbs. You can go rural, you can go suburb, you can go urban. It's up to you. We have it all within about an hour. If you want access to water, we have 2 lakes here. We actually have 3 lakes, but the major 2 are 2 lakes, and you're going to be able to do, fishing, kayaking, canoeing, all those things. So, and it really gives you the means to kind of live a very full life, right? So you can golf here. I remember moving here and it was like being part of a country club was so accessible. Whereas where I was from, there, you would never move unless you were a multimillionaire. You weren't getting access to a golf club community. You can get into a master plan community or you can be way out on 10 acres. It's up to you. You can get all of that here. And if you want that family lifestyle, you can get that here too. So it's a great, great town. Like it offers so much. And you're also within access of a lot of tourist areas, Myrtle Beach, Savannah, Hilton Head, Jacksonville, like you can go up to DC. Like there's just so much here. So
All right, that's pretty good. All right, might have to start doing a live in Charlotte. All right, for us in Sacramento, I mean, the thing about Sacramento is we're growing like it's just crazy how much stuff is coming to Sacramento, the Sacramento area. I mean, people have already seen monster appreciation in Sacramento. People are like loving the area. I mean, the people we move in just, I mean, we bump into them all the time and they're like, oh my God, this place is fantastic. I wish I would have moved here sooner. You know, yeah, it gets a little hot during summer, but at the same time, if you're looking for the California lifestyle, if you want a house that you can say, I'm okay paying the mortgage on that house, like this is the area you come to, especially if you want that California lifestyle here. We're close to Sierras, Tahoe's close by, Napa's close by. Everything is kind of close by, but you don't have that like notorious California ticket price of like $2 million for 1,000 square foot condo in San Jose. Sacramento's awesome. The people I've met here are just, have always been nice. You know, I mean, you get these cool communities, you get the 4th of July parties, the, you know, Costco shopping, the fun times. I mean, Sacramento is just, for me, it kind of has it all. I love California. I love the California lifestyle, but I just didn't want to pay that ticket price of like the Bay Area or Los Angeles. I love LA. I love the Southern California beaches and everything. But for me, I wanted that, but I just didn't want to pay that crazy, crazy price and not have something that I wouldn't be like, you know, stoked about having, you know, like, oh, this is my house. You know, areas like Charlotte, I'm sure have that for you. Areas like Sacramento have that for me, you know, and that's probably why you're not in New York and I'm not in San Francisco, because it's like, nah, this is a good area. We got a good bang for your buck. We can enjoy life. And at the end of the day, you pay your mortgage, but you look around and you say, yeah, it's good. So for me, yeah, Sacramento's treated me really, really right. Okay, we got Wendy here who's got a question. I want both of us to answer this one. Wendy, how are you doing this evening? All right, Mark, when a home sits on the market longer than expected, what is the biggest hidden reason you tend to discover behind the scenes that buyers don't always realize from the listing? I'd say number one is probably like, there could be like, you know, something wrong with the house, maybe like a big repair, like a roof and HVAC or whatnot. Or sometimes like the seller is just so fixed on a price. They don't really care about selling it. They're just so fixed on a price that's it. What do you think?
So I would agree with that. I would also say it depends on how much inventory you have in the neighborhood. If there are a lot of other homes or they're same floor plan, especially this happens in new construction all the time, where you know you have 4 floor plans and it's like 5 of them are on the market and they're all the exact same floor plan, right? And you're always gonna win better, best condition, best price. So if you have the best condition and the best price, you're going off the market first, most likely. I think some sellers come in too high, and I think some sellers don't prepare. Right? They hit the market without, painting. Like if you've been in a home 10 years, like you need to paint. I know that that can be expensive, but painting goes a long way, especially when you paint the entire house plus doors and trim. I think that's where people forget. And so the paint looks fresh, but it still doesn't have that updated look. So I think sometimes they go to market too swiftly without preparing. I recently had a seller put her house on the market, and I mean, she invested good money into prepping her house, and it was evident. And that was the thing that everybody commented on. This house is beautiful, even though it had some quirks, like it had wood cabinets, which you don't see as much anymore, but it was just, she was meticulous about it. And I think sometimes we just head to the market and expect for buyers to pick up those things, and some buyers, they're just not interested in doing the work. They want to just move right on in. So
all right, well, we got to follow up. Do buyers underestimate how much neighborhood atmosphere affects emotional well-being after they move in? What do you think?
do buyers underestimate how much the neighborhood, so do we mean like the vibe of the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that I've lived in communities where it was like, hey, that I got that door, that knock on the door, like, hey, welcome, they bring you something, like, and that really helps, especially when my son was young, and it was important to me to have people that I felt I could trust. I remember he disappeared for a little bit, and he was at my neighbor's house, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And being a New Yorker, that freaked me out. But I learned really to trust people, right? And in that neighborhood, I learned to really allow people to like help me out with my son. Whereas there's other places where it kind of feels like you never quite get to know the person next door. I think that one of the things that I found in new construction that's super special is that everybody's new. So everybody wants a friend. It's a lot harder to move into an area that's already been established, where there's cliques already, or there's, kind of like, hey, people have been around 20, 30 years and you're the new kid on the block, unless those people are very warm and welcoming. The other thing that you see is if a place has amenities, right? So if it has a playground, a pool, a clubhouse, a country club, a golf course, it lends more to getting to know your neighbors, because you're going to keep bumping into them. If you're at the pool, hey, but at some point you're going to start chatting. Actually, I meant to ask you this, Mark. Is
Maybe.
California similar to here? It's like everybody says hi to each other. Everybody's like friendly, and they'll it's like they go way out of their way. And that's something that really surprised me, because I wasn't used to that coming from where I was.
I don't think they go way out of their way. Like, I don't think it'd be like, way. I think everyone waves. Everyone waves and everyone's friendly here. In the Bay Area, I don't think they are. Bay Area, I grew up in the Bay Area, and back in the day, the Bay Area was a little bit more friendly. Now, I like go back to the areas I live, and I think there's a little entitlement going on there, and people just feel a little bit like it's mine, my precious, and they're not like that. I would say for me moving to Sacramento, that was the biggest thing that I thought it was just going to be like what I experienced in the Bay Area, where everything was just getting colder, and that's just how it was. But here, I mean, I move people in from the Bay Area all the time, and they're like, these people are like waving at me. What's going on? I'm like, it's called being neighborly. Like we in the Bay Area, we stopped doing that a whole long time ago. But here, everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's friendly. Like, I can honestly tell you, if I leave my house right now, I will go for a walk and just around my neighborhood. And I don't even, I'm not always taking walks, but I'll bump into at least 2 or 3 people and have conversations. So everyone's pretty nice. Go to the grocery store. I know everybody. Hey, how you doing? Are you good? So yeah, it's very neighborly, very friendly. People go out of their way. And I think in Sacramento, because it's always kind of been that way, people forget how good it is. But there are certain areas like the Bay Area, like, I kid you not, guys, I move people in from the Bay Area all the time, and they're like, I'm not used to this. What's going on here? Like, we moved in and they brought me a pie. Is there something in this pie? I need to check it for razor blades. Like, it's just the vibe is completely different. It's like, no, they're actually just asking, how's it going? And it's bizarre. People from other areas that move in here, like the Bay Area, they're just not used to it. They're like, hold on. And all of a sudden I run into people that I moved in from the Bay Area, and I run into him like, a couple months down the road, and they're like, oh my God, I met this guy named John. He's a Giants fan too. Oh my God, this is fantastic. And we're going to their house for a barbecue. I moved this one guy, Frank, in, and he's Greek, and he moved into Serrano, and he's like, oh, I met a bunch of Greeks in our neighborhood, and we're going to Greece next summer. We're planning the trip. And I'm like, welcome to Sacramento. And I think Wendy, long and short, I think people here in Sacramento, I think you guys don't know how like neighborly and friendly this area is. If you go to other areas, it's probably not like that, but it is what it is. Look what I got from you. Jason says, Mark, she was lovely. Good interview. What city is next? I don't know. You guys tell me what city is next. This one's going to be hard to beat, though. This one's going to be hard to beat. All right. Let's go. Open carry? Is that really in Charlotte?
Okay, yes, it is. But it's more South Carolina. Charlotte, we do get our concealed carry. So if you want to carry, you do have to kind of take your test and do all the things so you can conceal carry. But yeah, you can open carry. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to, but you can.
I don't know. You watch Justified too much, and you're just cruising around, see some old Clint Eastwood movies, and yeah. No, I mean, and here's the truth of the matter is, in real estate too, being a realtor can be very, very like dangerous out there as well too, if you're showing houses and everything. So yeah, I mean, safety above all as well too. All right. Here we go. El Dorado is developing way too fast. Yeah. Okay. So one of the things too, and I know you're probably like going, oh, I want to go to sleep, but 10 more minutes and we're done, I promise. One of the things that kind of irks me about the Sacramento area is the fact that I agree with this statement. I think that like there's areas, a lot of people moved here to the Sacramento area for hills, for lakes, for mountains, for mountain biking and everything too. And it seems like a lot of the land we're using for building new home communities and new areas and everything too. And I mean, they're building this new community up in El Dorado Hills, right in one of these primo mountain areas. They're putting like 750 homes like right there. And I don't like it. I think that we got to say more like of the reason why people moved here. Do you ever run into areas where you say like, oh my, it was so beautiful, and then they put in what, 1,000 houses there? What are they doing? Do you run into spots like that in the Charlotte area?
Yeah, one of the things that like I really appreciate is a builder that kind of builds around the community. Like if the so if there's already trees there, and a builder can build into the land as opposed to just leveling the land, which is what they do. So they just tear everything down, put all these homes, and then put a couple of little trees that take forever to mature. But there are builders that do the opposite. So they'll kind of like cut some trees down, build the home. And so it has a very mature feel. I really appreciate when a builder does that. You don't see it that often. Standard Pacific did it many years ago. Pulte did it, but you don't really see it happen that much. There's an area here called the Sanctuary. That's another one that they've left they basically left it in its natural condition, and they just kind of placed the homes there. And I think that's a better feel than doing it the opposite way. But I understand why they do it. It's probably cheaper and easier and quicker. So.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, cheaper sometimes. The builders are all about the bottom line. Most builders.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so let's go here. We go. Do you think simpler homes sometimes bring more peace than highly elaborate ones? I think for me, I find that I'm a minimalist. I like minimalist stuff. I like to keep stuff simple and nice and clean. There's a sense of peace that I get from it. Honest, I don't like clutter. I don't like too much of stuff. For me, that's how I am. So I have to say, yeah, I think sometimes, the simpler a home, the more just clean and just simple and not cluttered up, for me at least, the better. How about you?
So I'm going to say that as a designer, I appreciate any type of design. But if you're going to do classic and traditional, I kind of feel like I need to see some bells and whistles. Like I want to see the, coffers. I want to see the trim. But I love a modern home too. Like a modern home that's simple, clean lines, and just really good quality materials. I'm all about that as well. So I can go either way.
Okay. All right. We got a comment about the Bay Area that I unfortunately got to agree with. It's because people want to live there long term. Sacramento. Bay Area is a transient and cutthroat. Bay Area just feels like a giant treadmill. Even when I go down there, I get this like stressed out, like, feeling. And either freeways or, yeah, it's just not for me. I went to Walnut Creek to visit my mom a little while ago. And it was just parking was brutal. Traffic was brutal. Feel like I went through a toll every 5 minutes. I just was like, I'm done. I just want to get home, hit Costco, pick up some food, go home, and just veg out watching Netflix. I'm good. I'm good with my Sacramento lifestyle. So for you, so we'll leave it at this last question. So as far as Charlotte's future, as far as it developing and growing, how do you see Charlotte in 5 years?
Wow. I just see it just getting more and more, the more of a metropolitan, more urban. One of the downsides of that, of course, is that the things that I came down here for are kind of going away. For instance, parking. Like you can pull into any spot, right? And now the closer you get to uptown, the more difficult it is to park, and those things are frustrating, but it comes with change, right? That's part of it. Even seeing like expressways that now have tolls and HOV, I never saw that before. And now it's like, here we go. It feels like New York. It feels like that's what we did in New York. We went over bridges all the time with a bunch of tolls, and that's what's happening. But I also see a lot of good things, a lot of providing quality homes, because I think that a home is one of the most beautiful things you can own, right? And so the fact that you still have an opportunity to build a home here, whereas in other places, like it's completely built out and there's just nowhere else to put a home here, I still feel like there's opportunities for growth in so many different ways. And I love this whole live, work, play attitude that Charlotte is bringing to the table, because I think it's important to give people spaces where they're not sedentary. That's one downside of living in some of these areas, that you're not doing a lot of walking, you're not biking, because everything is get up, get in a car to go to the store. And by doing more of these areas where you have things closer to you, where you can go to work in 10 minutes and you could possibly walk there, I think that's important to building a healthy lifestyle, and just being out in nature. So.
Very nice. For me, I think Sacramento is just booming like crazy. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in 5 years, 10 years down the road. I think with the amount of new homes being built, schools, parks, all the new companies coming in town, medical facilities as well too, infrastructure being built now that probably by that time it'll be completed. Sacramento is going to be completely different than what you remember Sacramento being 5 or 10 years ago. I think that a lot of people getting in right now on the ground floor, you're probably going to be pretty happy. I think maybe we'll be getting an NFL team. Maybe we'll be getting Major League Baseball team, and we'll be kind of getting to where we should have been a little while ago. I think this thing about Sacramento in comparison to the Bay Area, Los Angeles, is we have one thing they don't have. We have land. We can build here. We can build there. We can grow. We can expand. We can add more schools, more houses, more communities, more stores, more shopping, more everything. We have that space that California is so valuable, and we're one of the only areas that really, really has it. We still have the location to Tahoe, to Napa, to the Bay Area if we want it, but we're going to build so many amazing things in the Sacramento area, you're not going to want to leave. Sacramento, in my opinion, if you're looking for the California lifestyle, currently it's probably the best bang for your buck in any spot in California, but it's going to not be fairly soon because of all the stuff that's growing here, developing here, all the new schools, parks, surf park in West Roseville, River Cats. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be affordable if we get our own NFL team or whatnot. So I think Sacramento is right now going to be going on a few growth spurts. And I don't know if affordable is going to be one of those things that we're going to even be able to call Sacramento in the near future, if not now. So Sacramento is a freight train, in my humble opinion. And if you guys have bought into Sacramento, enjoy the ride. If you guys are thinking about moving to Sacramento, you might want to jump on. It's a little fast now, but it could get faster later on down the road. And for me, I want to say, and I will always call her Karina, I will say this, guys, if you are going to make the move to Charlotte or the Charlotte area, she is interior designer, articulate, smart as a whip. She is amazing. She is that person that I mean, I wish more realtors were like. If you are someone looking in that area, you should talk to her. And I guarantee you, after about 30 seconds, you will be thanking me for pointing in this direction. If I went to Charlotte, if I even went to New York, she'd be the person I'd work with. She is so good at this. Not only that, you walk into a home, she can tell you exactly about those designer features, the upgrades, the finishes. So you know that you're not buying something that you're overpaying for, because she'll say, no, that's actually pretty pricey. Or no, that's not. She's an amazing realtor. And I think Charlotte, in my humble opinion, I think she is the premier and the best realtor in the Charlotte area. And I would definitely reach out to her. And thank you for coming on the night show, Karina. I appreciate it. It's been good to connect with you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so proud of you. You are doing amazing things. And you have definitely supported my career and grown me in ways that I can't even begin to explain. So thank you.
Well, here's the thing for me, and I'll tell you one thing. The one gift I have is being able to spot other people with amazing talent, and that's you. You're thriving in real estate, but I got to be honest with you, I knew you would. You're amazing, and if anyone works with you in Charlotte, they're lucky to. Now, you guys, thank you for the show. Thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. What time is it right now where you are?
Oh, God, 11:34.
She is on this show live for you guys, 11:34, because you guys told me to bring on some amazing realtors. So smash that like button, comment. And if you are reaching out to anyone in Charlotte, it better be her. Guys, hopefully enjoy the show. Till next time. Okay, guys,
Thank
hopefully you enjoyed the show tonight. Buying and selling is stressful. I mean, there are definitely different avenues you can go in, and there's no guarantee. Every property is different, whether you're looking to buy it or sell it. So reach out to our team and we can talk to you a little bit about the pros and cons of selling currently, what your house is valued at, and all that stuff too. There's a link below to schedule a call. Now, if you're thinking about moving to the area, guys, reach out to our team as well. We're working with a lot of people relocating them to the Sacramento area. We absolutely love it. There's a Zoom link below. Set up a time where we can talk to you a little bit about what your needs are. Now, if you enjoyed this live broadcast, smash that like button. We would love to talk to you a little bit about Sacramento. I mean, we always are out and about. So if you're looking at places like El Dorado, Roseville, Rockland, Davis, we got you covered. Just reach out to us. And maybe you don't want to do a Zoom call, so just hit me at my phone number on the banner and we can talk a little Sacramento. Now, guys, one last thing before I go, there's a playlist right over there of other videos I've done about the Sacramento area. Knowledge is power. Those videos will help you kind of make a decision if Sacramento is that spot for you and you want to take it to the next stage. All right, guys, this is Mark. Have a good one. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next video.